So I'm thinking about this concept recently. I can't remember what movie it's from. Somebody says they're not afraid anymore. I think it's a kid. Doesn't matter. But that phrase has kept ringing in my head. Kind of this, I'm not afraid anymore. And what I mean by that is not like afraid of monsters or the dark, which I think is what the kid in the movie was talking about, because they might still be afraid of monsters or the dark. But um, I'm not afraid of feeling helpless. I'm not afraid of finding myself in situations or jobs or whatever it might be where it's not going the way I want it to go and it's not making me feel the way I want it to feel. I used to be afraid of that. And I've said this often, like, my fear often translates into anger quickly. So what it would normally look like is anger. I would complain, I would vent, I would bitch to my wife, I would bitch to whoever, and I still do that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I by no means gotten completely over this, but that fear of feeling helpless, that fear of feeling like, I don't want to have to do this and this isn't right, but I have no choice and I just have to kind of suck it up and deal with it and all that. I'm not afraid of that anymore. And I think you say, well, why aren't you afraid of that? I think it's because, I think it's two things that I often talk about. There's kind of the logic and there's the action. There's the strategy team and there's the operations team, right? That's the analogy I often use. And they go hand in hand. And I think logically, I've done so much kind of self-work and reflection and learning and talking to other people and figuring out who I am and figuring out what my values are, that it's given me a great degree of confidence to feel like if something's not right for me, I know it, and I know there's something I could do to change it. But as importantly is I've started to take, maybe more importantly, I've started to take action on that, right? I quit my job. It's a job I had for, I don't fucking know, it had to be 7, 8, 9 years maybe, that I never liked. And I had that fear constantly of, I hope they don't ask me to do something I don't want to do, or just on a day-by-day basis, I would constantly be angry and frustrated and bitching about it. And that's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible, helpless feeling because I didn't know any other way. I didn't know what else am I going to do. Like, this is just what it is. But once you start to take actions where you do stuff, where you say, no, like, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to quit my job and go do something else. It starts to build this muscle of, like, if I find myself in that situation again, I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to feel helpless. I'll just fix it. I'll go do something. And like so many of the things I talk about, that sounds so fucking stupid for me to say. It sounds so obvious and almost embarrassing that it took me so long to figure that something like that out, right? It's stoicism, pick whatever philosophy you want to pick, this idea of, like, just worry about what you can control and don't worry about what you can't. And obviously, yes, if I'm in a position that I'm not happy and I don't like what it is, think about that situation, think about what you can do to fix it, think about what's reasonable, rational, and do it and fix it. Obvious, easy. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of people. We all have our flaws, but that never was an option for me. I didn't know myself well enough. I didn't have enough self-confidence. I was too paralyzed by fear. It was too easy to just bitch and complain. But once you start doing it, once you start taking actions of things where you're like, I don't like it, I'm going to do something about it. I don't like the way this conversation with this person is going, I'm going to let them know. And we're going to have a conversation about it. I'm uneasy about what I'm being asked to do at work because I don't think it's really what I'm best at or what I should be doing. I'm going to talk about it. And it's that ability to do that, but do it with true confidence. And by true confidence, I mean not just like bang your chest and like, I'm going to go in there and tell them what it is. It's the confidence to be thoughtful and humble and empathetic, but also assertive and rational and logical. To go in and say, hey, here's the issue I'm having. This doesn't seem right to me. Or this seems like a problem, or this thing you didn't sit right with me. I just want to let you know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I missed it, I'm open to that, but I think something needs to change. And maybe you work through it, or maybe you don't. And then you have that confidence to be like, okay, this isn't for me then. I got to go to something else. Something about that has given me an underlying feeling of calm and peace. This idea that I'm not afraid anymore. Whatever situation I find myself in, it just happened the other day at work, where I was doing something and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like what it looks like. I don't like the way it's playing out. But rather than just falling into that same old groove of like, well, I'll just bitch about it and be angry and complain and miserable and helpless, I thought about what I could do. I thought about, well, I could talk to somebody about it and see if I could work something out. I could structure it in a way where it minimizes the painful parts of it. There's a whole host of things I could do. And that openness, those possibilities, is unbelievably liberating and comforting. And for me, I just find myself saying that often now. When I find myself in a situation, I'm not afraid of this. It's okay. We'll figure it out, whatever it needs to be. And I have the confidence of knowing I've done that before. I've taken those steps. So it's not conceptual, it's not theoretical, it's not aspirational. It's real. And you do it. And again, that's obvious for so many people. And kudos to you. And I envy that a little bit. If you've known that your whole life, it took me a while to get there, and I'm still working to get there. But it feels like a better way to be.